Hi guys, welcome back to Surviving Infidelity. Today's story is wife admitted to having an ongoing affair with her boss, who is married and with 2 kids, after only being married to me for 4 months. I hope this one's a bit up to date. I know I've been reading some old stories on this channel, but they just get reposted on Reddit, so it's a bit hard to know what's what. Before we get into the video, I just want to remind you of the Patreon link in the description. If you want to check it out, just check it out. You don't have to. And we'll get straight into the video. Hi all, I really appreciate this community and I found it very helpful throughout this process, so I'd like to share a shortened version of my story. My ex-wife and I have been together for about 6 years before we got married last June of 2021. Getting married during the pandemic wasn't easy, but we had a wonderful wedding and it was one of the happiest days of my life. Fast forward a few months later and my wife became a completely different person. She opted to go out to the office regularly while I continued to work from home. We both worked from home throughout the pandemic. She worked for a big firm, so the longer hours seemed to be par for the course. But she no longer wanted to spend quality time with me on the weekends, like spending a lot of time with her horse, and began to downplay my achievements, claiming I was no longer a go-getter even though I was doing well at work. People say that the first year of marriage can be so hard. So I started taking my wife on regular date nights to reinvigorate our relationship. But she remained withdrawn and judgmental, which was a big blow to my self-esteem. I racked my brain thinking of what I might have done to make her act and feel this way, but I couldn't come up with anything plausible. So I started to lose sleep thinking I was possibly losing my wife to someone else. These were the worst months of my life, because I couldn't believe you could lose the person you married so shortly after tying the knot. So I convinced myself it was the pressure of a job that was causing her to act this way, and I opted to suppress the negative thoughts to avoid any more issues that we were having. She was actually gaslighting me the whole time, and I just didn't know it. Oh, I feel so bad when it's a turnaround kind of thing that the cheaters do to make the non-cheater in the relationship think that something they've done has made the problem as well. Like, I think that's so selfish. D-Day. I organised a romantic weekend by the beach, despite my suspicions, in order to try to revive what we had prior to our marriage. I thought this would renew our bond, and she became more brazen with her disdain. I'm learning new words. I told her I loved her on our way to dinner. She didn't reciprocate. And later that evening, she had me take a non-safe for work photo of her in a bubble bath. And when I mentioned it was a bit too scandalous for social media, she responded, "That's not what I'm using it for." Oh, obviously he said ex-wife, so I'm very happy about that. But still, this is crazy. She's just so out with it too. What is this? We have been intimate throughout our marriage, but she refused to be intimate with me on this trip. That's when I finally confronted her on my suspicions and demanded she be honest with me. She denied everything for a while, but I convinced her I had proof when I didn't, and she finally confessed. I haven't heard of someone doing that. That's such a smart way of learning or finding out the truth. It's just act like you already have the evidence of it, because they're going to admit it. She admitted to sleeping with her boss on numerous occasions for months, and that he was pressuring her to leave me. I went through a panic attack, which I've never experienced before. Your first panic attack is one of the worst. I do suffer from anxiety and quite bad panic attacks at times, so I can feel what he would feel from that. The first one is always the worst, and it's just not a good feeling. If any of you have had panic attacks, you would understand the horrible feeling you get and how much you get drained from this. After finally calming down, I realized what a fool she was for falling for his lies. I told her I was going to inform his wife, and she responded, "She'll find out, but you won't be the one to tell her." That's when I knew my now ex-wife had convinced herself she was going to run away with her boss. She's living in a fantasy world, a daydreaming world. Like, she's getting played as well, but I don't care if you're getting played because you're cheating. Who cares? You deserve it. It was sick and a little evil, and I realized that my now ex-wife was never who I married. The real her was this manipulative and vile stranger. The worst thing that happens is when you see someone's true colours and you just realise everything. I feel like he's probably going to be going back on all the little scenarios and be like, damn, that was so manipulative of her. It happens to the best of us. She changed my flight that night and sent me to my parents' house and told me she would mail me some boxes of my clothes. Is this real? Is this actually real? Can someone tell me if they've read this before and it's a real thing? Because this is crazy to me. I contacted the boss's wife through social media as soon as I got to the airport. Good. That's so good. And that's when all hell broke loose. Yeah, she deserves to know too. She deserves it. Long story short, the boss never planned on leaving his family, and in order to try and save his marriage, he distanced himself from my now ex-wife as quickly as possible. Apparently HR had to get involved, and my ex-wife quickly gained a reputation around her office. Good. She cried and pleaded with me to take her back. No. But I told her she had made the decision and I'm just completing her plan. Oh, yes. I love to see that. I love to see putting the foot down and realizing your worth. Aftermath. Success is the best revenge. Life has been good now that the dust has settled. I live near some of my closest friends, met a wonderful woman, and found a great job in California. I'm learning to love myself again and have realized that my ex-wife's opinion of me during our marriage is not a reflection of who I am or my inherent value. I'm truly happier without her. And while I occasionally feel disheartened by what transpired, I feel blessed that this truth came to light before we had kids. So blessed. It's better to find out sooner than later if these kind of things, as we all know, because it's so much more messier when there's other things involved. I am so happy. I love a good ending to the story where the one that was cheated on has a happy ending because it's all they deserve. No one deserves to be cheated on, and that's that. We all know this. But I can't believe some of the things, like her saying it's not for social media. You're so brave. You're so brave, and you're delusional. And even I hope, it's so bad because the boss has 2 kids and the wife didn't know, and that's a whole other thing. I hope she's living her best life too. Let me know what you think about this story in the comments. Just wanted to remind you of the Patreon link down in the description. If you want to see more uncensored videos, more content, just head down there if you like. You don't have to. So that's it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for sticking around for so long, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.